Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So Ethereum is coming down quite strongly after the spike today. That was only in 3 waves today, that spike. Yeah, so we had a wave 1, 2, 3. It could still just be an ABC because what I'm waiting for is here a wave 5 still. So everything at the moment is still according to plan. Yeah. But what it needs to do now, it needs to hold critical support, and we're going to take a look at that. At the moment, all it's doing is probably just retesting at the moment this swing high from the 30th of November. So if I draw a horizontal resistance support line, you can see that it's just coming down to that level. Yeah, it hasn't substantially broken it. I think it's just now reacting to it. The question is, are the bulls strong enough to push it to the upside from here? And this is way too early to talk about it. It's the first 15-minute candle now after hitting that level. 5-minute is an engulfing candle, but that's really not too relevant. But yeah, we could see upside from here. Obviously, it's a bit too early to confirm that. The slight concern I have is that we are coming down quite strongly here. This does not appear to be a very corrective move down. It makes to me the impression this could be a 5-wave move. So what we could be getting here is something like an A, B, C. The problem we have then is that in the C wave we're coming down too far. So we need to see actually. Important would be to really hold now the 50% retracement of wave 3. And I think we've come down pretty close to that 50% retracement. So let's take a look at that. Before we do that, let's just remind ourselves of the larger count. Obviously CPI data today, I made a live stream. Everybody should be up to date. Live stream during a CPI data release, yeah, it was 7.1%. Market expectation was 7.3. So the general sentiment was bullish. That was the catalyst to fulfill here the expectations of the Elliott Wave count. We broke resistance finally. What you always need to do after breaking resistance is hold support. So this is now the moment of truth. This is currently the retest of this support level, former resistance, now support level. So we ideally flip that level here around 1308 from resistance to support. And if we do that and then rally above wave 3 at 1347, that would be a signal that we are continuing to push higher in this higher degree wave 3, which is part of this larger 5-wave structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Based on this count, we could still see some more significant upside here. But obviously condition is now to hold the 1310 level. If we lose that 50% retracement, it could honestly be an issue for the larger count. It could be an issue for the larger count because then, yeah, then we failed to rally to, we failed to create an impulse here. We're breaking back below support, and that is something that we shouldn't do if we want to continue to move higher here, okay? So we are going to zoom in now and take a look at what that key support level is. So at the moment, only 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. I think this should be a 4th wave, and then the 5th wave would still be missing. What are the key support levels for wave 3? So we need to hold the 50% retracement, or it could be an issue for the larger count. So I don't know why it's not doing it. Let me just try something different. No, let me just refresh the page. Maybe now it works. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we have now reacted. Well, now we've come down. We've broke below the 38.2% fib level at 1311. I think we're still fighting around that level. But the key level here is the 50% retracement, 1301. If we drop below that level, it could be a problem for the larger count. Maybe a short wick below it wouldn't be a problem, but actually I'd like to avoid it. So signal here, if we break below 1301, issue for the larger count. And then we may come down, retest the trend line, that larger trend line, yeah. And but then we are basically retracing too much, you know. Then it all has very much the, yeah, it makes very much the impression then of a corrective move to the upside. So ideally, it should have stopped at 1311. Well, we're doing that now, and pushed up from here. Ideally, it shouldn't have come down that strongly, that impulsively. So there's obviously a lot of profit taking going on. But we need to hold the 50% level, guys. So that's at 1301. If we break below that level, we need to look at the structure. But again, it could be an issue for the larger count. Then maybe we just have an ABC here, some kind of an overshooting B wave before we actually come down and crash down. Should we really come below 1301, then key support is at 1256. Then we've got it at 1235 and then 1185, 1186. If we break below 1186, then all my hope is gone for a short-term bullish outcome here, and we may come down to the $1,000 level. It's important in the current situation to understand those key support levels, key pivot points, key invalidation points, I believe. So yeah, target for the bulls, ideally hold that 1310 level. If we break below that, last chance, 1301, it needs to turn around, rally above 1346, get into the $1,400 region. What would be ideally the target? But before we get to 1400, what would be the target here for the wave 5 of yellow 3? So that would be, take the wave length 1. This shouldn't drop much lower, but let's go down to 1301 just for a more conservative target. Then we're looking here at 1358, the 1.618 extension. Maybe a little bit higher, depending on how low we really go in this wave 4. But yeah, I mean, if it goes below 1301, it did fail to impulse. And then this is definitely a reason for concern, because this is not a 5-wave structure to the upside. The only other possibility we then would have to continue, or one still fairly likely possibility that we would then still have to consider that anything bullish would be to consider this a 1-2 setup, and then here another 1-2 setup. And that is what could happen if we come down in an A, B, C correction and come down deeper. Then we have a 1-2, 1-2. That would be actually more bullish because it extends out further to the upside. You will have your wave 3, 4, and 5. If that happens though, we also need to hold a certain support level to make that likely. And that would be the 78.6% FIB level. So if we drop below 1301, we have one more chance at 1275. Yeah, in a 1-2 setup. But I would like to avoid 1-2 setups, because if you are rallying in a wave 3, in a supposed wave 3, and we have another 1-2 setup, it always reduces the confidence in the count, yeah, because you are rallying basically, but the buyers can't hold the support and the sellers are still selling into the rally, profit taking, which is no surprise after such a strong rally. But ideally, we are holding this current level here. We're currently holding it just now. We're just holding it, no bearish divergence yet, but the RSI is still fairly high. So what I would have liked to see actually is not such a strong sell-off, more like sideways movement, maybe until tomorrow. That would have brought the indicators down as well. In a wave 4, you would normally expect not that much of a strong retracement. Now, it's still within what is reasonable for a wave 4, but the strength of the decline is a bit concerning. So see that as a bit of a warning that this could become a 1-2, 1-2 setup. And if that fails below 1275, we may retest 1256, 1235, 1185. But all of that, breaking each of these will reduce the likelihood of a bullish outcome. So yeah, this is the moment of truth here, guys. We need to hold this and continue to move up to continue the primary count. Okay, and that's my update about Ethereum. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.